We on.
Con. So with all being said, first off, we would like to say, Call Halal, Yahweh,
Yahweh, Bahashim,
Bahashim,
Yahweh
Yahushai,
Shai,
Bahashim,
Bahashim,
Rakakwadash.
Rakakwadash.
We'd like to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. Also, would like to say peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, the brothers that's pushing his word in all sincerity and truth throughout the four corners of the earth. For the few sisters that watch and believe, shalom to you as well. Me, Yadakai, with the brother here, Shahar in the camp, Great Millstone, Dallas, all through the
Shalom.
spirit. We just coming to edify with a lesson, just add to the series that brothers have been going into as to why we call you Edomites, you self-proclaimed white people, the devil. And of course, man, we can go on until the Lord really gets back with this this series. But just another aspect I wanted to add today, identity theft, because this actually happened to me. Just to give a testimonial with my so-called money or whatever. But I was just thinking, I was meditating on it. The man who we call the devil, the nation of Edom, you self-proclaimed white people. That's just another reason why we call you the devil, because
That's right.
you took the identity of the Lord's chosen people. You know, and the people who call themselves the so-called Jews, they control the narrative of everything that we know of as of life right now. And how dare anybody in the world come up against them? Or you're gonna be instantly demonized, man, and labeled anti-Semitic.
Right.
Which we can go into how we come from Shem on another topic for another day. But without further ado, did you have a scripture?
Just a quick one going into it.
Go ahead.
This is Baruch chapter 3, verse 19. They are vanished and gone down to the grave. And this is talking about us. And others are come upon in their steads. All right. So pretty much others dwell in our stead. Pretty much the first thing we could think of is the land that was given to us for an inheritance.
Okay.
You go over to that land right now, which is the land of Israel, and you got a bunch of gutter rats that live over there. You got Ishmaelites that live over there, and you got Cushites that dwell over there in that land right now, man. Now that land was not given to none of those people. All right, you had those gutter rats that moved into that land pretty much even around the time of the Hasmonean dynasty. That's when those Edomites started really being up in there heavy. And then even before that, you had those Cushites that dwelt in there, and that was around the time of the Assyrian Empire. All right, when those Assyrians had moved those Cushites to that land and allowed our priests to teach them the word. All right, that's why you got those quote unquote Ethiopian Jews in there. And then you got Ishmaelites that have been dwelling there for hundreds of years, but namely the past 400 years around the time of the Ottoman Empire, when the Ottomans had a very high seat in power. Okay, so you have everybody else that dwells in that land other than us. But more importantly, you got people that dwell in that land that are calling themselves the people of the Most High. The biggest account of identity theft in history, man. When them being over there doesn't fit the prophecy at all. All right, that was it on that one.
What's that scripture? I can't think of it now. That talk about you're not supposed to remove the ancient landmarks.
I don't know right off the head.
Okay, kind of. Well,
off the head.
We could probably get that later because you just struck my spirit to think of that and just going into how everyone outside of the true people who that land was given to by the Most High as an inheritance, they're trying to gain stake in that land. But it's mainly you Amalekites,
right?
You so-called Jews. You've committed the biggest identity theft on the planet Earth in the history of human, in the history of man, so to speak. But you can go ahead and get that in Revelation 3. This is something else.
Okay, that's all good.
Yeah.
This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie."
That's right. And it says, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan." And when you go into that word synagogue, it means chief house. So you Amalekites, you so-called Jews, man, you're the chief house of the nation of Edom. You're the chief house of you self-proclaimed white people, man. If you committed the biggest identity theft in the history of mankind by calling yourself Jews, but that's a complete lie. That's a complete lie, man, to say that you're a Jew when none of the prophecies that would pertain to the Jews, like it talks about Genesis, where he asked what's going to befall them in the last days, and the Lord told him. Jacob brought his sons to him to tell him what befall him in the last days. And none of these things pertain to the people that's calling themselves Jews, man. Among other things that's against them in the earth that show without a doubt that you're not those people.
Right.
You know?
That's right. You want me to keep going?
Yeah. Salaki, go ahead.
Con. Revelation 3 and 9. "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
That's right. It says that call themselves Jews but are not, but do lie. So like we going into why we call you the devil. Another reason why is identity theft, man.
Right.
That's a complete lie. Why would you want to take somebody's identity, man? You know? But that shows that you're the devil.
That's
you know, it really all goes back to Jacob and Esau. Esau is mad. The chief house of Edom, they're mad because they lost the birthright. So they want to do everything that they can to try to come back to that birthright. But it was set up in the spirit for you not to get it. So now you got to commit identity theft and saying that you're the Jews. But everything in the world, everything related in truth, expressly shows that you do lie in saying that you're the Jews, man. And the Lord's going to make you to come worship before our feet. Because right now, like it says in 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, we're in a time where this current rulership is about to be brought down in the kingdom of heaven, and the rightful rulers of the earth is about to be established in power. You know, we're entering into a transition of power. So that's why, like the scripture says in Revelation 12, Satan's going to come with great wrath because he knows but he has but a short time. And we know that the chief house of Satan is you Amalekites, man.
That's right.
You identity thieves. Go ahead.
I got a quick precept.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 17. And it says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. All right, and when you go into that word covet, it goes into desire. So what did they desire? What did they covet? They desired our birthright. That's right. They coveted our inheritance, the land, everything, man. And you was going into it beautifully, pretty much how these Amalekites have taken everything, man. Which ultimately it was set up by the Heavenly Father. You know, but what you've done was you've coveted us. Now, this is one of the 10 commandments, and we understand that the commandments were only given to Israelites. But check this out. You Amalekites, you Edomites, that's why the scriptures say also in Psalm 50 and 16, what hast thou done to declare thy statutes? Okay, so since you wanted to take on the covenant within your mouth, you're going to be judged by the same exact way. So when we going into covenant thy neighbor's land, house, wife, maid, servant, or anything, you fall into that category because you tried to declare Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah statues, man. You go over there, you call yourselves the Israelites. All right, you claim to be the ones that crossed the Red Sea with Moses. Okay, you got the chiefs, rabbis, all this. When none of that's been given to you, man. When really you're Edomites. But you really think about it to the nitty gritty. Who would really want to take hold of that identity? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got these Edomites that want to be the last samurai. They want to be the Mexican, like Paul Mooney said. You got the movie The Last Samurai starring what's his name? Tom Cruise. You got the Mexican starring Brad Pitt. And he said, what you gonna have next? The last nigga on earth starring Tom Hanks? Yep. That's how Esau is, man. They claim everybody else except theirs. Because deep down, you so-called white people know that your latter end is going to be destruction. That's based on your role in the scriptures. You played the devil to the perfect degree, and everything that the devil would do, that you perceive to be the devil, everything that that you perceive in your mind the devil to be, you fulfilled. That's right. You fulfilled that category, man. You are the devil the Bible speaks of, man. You desired everything that's ours, even our birthright. And you trying to take it by force. Yeah. And that just shows too, just the spirit of Cain that's within the Edomites as well, man. Because Cain, like the scripture says, he would be a vagabond and a fugitive of justice. So what's the characteristics? What's something that a fugitive that's running away from justice would do? He would steal somebody else's identity. That's right. Trying to frame other people. You know, that's what Esau's trying to frame us for all the crimes of humanity, and then escape his true identity and paint us as being what he really is. You know? That was it on what you had? That was it on that one. Did you get Revelation 2 and 9? 2 and 9, I sure can. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9. And it says, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Yep. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. That's right. So the Most High knows our poverty, man, but we're rich in faith. The nation of Israel, we're the poorest people on the planet right now, man. You know, but we're rich in faith because we were given the birthright. That's right. You know, we were given the inheritance of the kingdom of heaven, the nation of Israel. But it says, I know the blasphemy, and a blasphemy is a wicked, filthy lie of them which say they are Jews and are not. That's right. And what nation of people is running around calling themselves Jews collectively as a so-called nation of people around the earth? It's you Amalekites. It's That's right. You Khazars, man. You so-called Jews.
that are mostly dwelling in the land of Israel right now. You know, Salaki, something in my throat or something.
Con.
Does it hit on that?
I could read a little more to it.
Get the point.
Verse 10. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, which is these guys we're talking about, these Edomites, shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay, now this devil has the power to throw us into prison. And as we're scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and where they're pretty much set outside as that altar and that sacrifice, we're doing the service of the Lord. And as we go on the highways and byways and preach in the devil's backyard, he has the power to throw us in prison. And best believe he's going to try to do so, especially once he sees brothers start doing miracles.
That's right.
And doing things that the ancient men was doing, man, because these Edomites know truly who we are, man.
Exactly.
Maybe not the lower level Edomites, but you got those Edomites that sit on high places, those top-notch Amalekites, and those elites that know who we are, man. So it's only a matter of time by while we're outside preaching, they're going to try to throw us into prison.
Yep.
But Yahushua clearly said it was going to happen. The devil, these people that call themselves the Israelites, the synagogue of Satan, they're going to want to cast us into prison, man. Yep. And they have the power to do so, but the Lord is going to lift up that standard in that day, man. And that's why in Revelation 3:9, which we had read earlier, at the end of it said, I will make them to come and worship thee before thy feet and to know that I have loved thee. Because when that day comes, when the Lord sets that standard up, they're going to come unto us in chains. And you read that in Isaiah 45, and they're going to bow down to us and say, surely God is in thee, man. All right. Now they have power right now, which their power isn't in strength, but it's within their money and the fact that they've been given the world to rule based on the blessing that Isaac's given them. But that's only for a short time, and it's a carnal blessing, man.
That's right.
What we've received is a spiritual blessing and the promise of everlasting life, rulership, dominion over everybody. And that clearly shows you those gutter rats that are over there right now aren't that, man, because they got to get 7, 8 heart transplants just to stay alive. All right. They're trying to fulfill it to the best of their ability. But the more they try to fulfill it forcefully through carnality, that's just opening up. That's pretty much revealing to show that they're not the true people, man.
That's right.
They're doing only things devils would do. 7 heart transplants? Like, come on, man. That's demonic as hell, bro.
Surgery anyway.
Exactly.
That shows,
good point.
Complete number 7 times.
That's right.
But just the reason why, like you just read in verse 10, Satan gonna try to cast the men of the Lord into prison is because we casting the light on that identity.
That's right.
We calling it out. Who is more than the real men of the Lord? Because you got a lot of different Israelite camps that teach different doctrines, but really they gonna hone in to the men of the Lord that really getting to the nitty gritty, that are exposing all of that madness, man.
That's
and
right.
Like we going into this topic, that identity theft, man. They gonna really try to come after us, man.
That's right.
Esau don't want the world to know his true intent, his true character, which is being exposed daily. You know?
That's right, brother. God.
Was that it on 10?
That was it. That was the main.
Can you get Bob Kashad? We gonna stay in Revelation
let's
a while.
Get
let's get 12 and 10.
Hey, let's go.
So we called it earlier, but everything's linking like dominoes, you know?
And
just like dominoes, everything's going to be a domino effect to the destruction of Great Babylon, man.
That's right.
Which is the kingdom that you devils, you Amalekites, the chief house of Satan is ruling right now, man. The dominoes of your destruction is being lined up. It's just piece by piece through the prophecies, it all has to play out, man.
That's right.
And we're seeing it happen, and we're speaking on it, and we're exposing all your madness. That's why you get mad. You know? Go ahead.
This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 10. And it reads, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power, in the power of his Mashiach, or his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night.
And that's what you Edomites, the chief house, mainly you Amalekites fear. You fear the power of our salvation, Yahushua coming back to raise that standard up and lift us back up and set things back in order, man. To where all of that identity theft, man, hey, our claim is about to be solved, basically.
That's right.
Because if I'm going through the situation now, there has to be an investigation. And right now, you're under investigation. That's right. You Edomites are under investigation, man. And that identity theft is being found out. So the rightful owners of everything that has been stolen, from lands to our heritage, you know, our nationality, is the Lord is going to set it back up. That's why we're close to our salvation.
That's right.
That's why you're accusing us before the Most High. You setting up all of these different traps to make us go off so you can blame us before the Most High. You know?
That's right.
So, but the accuser of our brethren right now, he's being cast down. And that's why you're mad. You know that You only set up to rule for a certain amount of time, like it says in Job the 14th chapter. That time is almost up.
That's right.
So that's why they're addressing the truth. That's why this truth, the Israelites now are on the mainstream media, man. It's all a part of that demonization campaign to further accuse the brethren of the Most High because they fear their downfall, which is imminent. You can't stop it, you know? That's it on that. Did you have a precept?
Yeah, I was going to bring one out real quick. Just lining up to what you was talking about, how pretty much Esau's being sought out. And I know that's in Obadiah, but I got this here in the book of Isaiah chapter 25, verse 7. And it says, and he will destroy in this mountain of the face of the covering cast over all people, in the veil that is spread over all the nations. So that's what's taking place, man. As Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah pleads with these people, and he pleads with all these people through the mouth of his prophets. So as he's pleading them and exposing them and searching out or investigating, man, that veil is being lifted. Because what is a veil? A veil goes into a covering, right? And it's the spirit that all these precepts we've been bringing out as revelation, which means to reveal or to pull back. That's right, to pull back that veil. And that's what's taking place through his prophets, or through the Most High from his prophets. Okay? Well, as we're speaking on these things, that veil is being pulled back to the point where you see all the hidden things that was hidden. Okay? Because again, a veil means to pull back what was hidden. All right? And all these things have been hidden for a long period of time before we understood this truth. We thought those people that lived over there in our Holy Land were the actual Israelites, man. We thought we were African Americans, Negroes, didn't know our history, and we were content with it. Just like all these jakes that you see out here right now, man. But as we're out here speaking, and not even just us speaking this, but through the Urim and the Thummim, the modern day Urim and the Thummim, which is the internet that we have pretty much right now, our devices that we use, you even got certain Edomites of their own people that are exposing them who they are, which shows you they ain't going to stand, because that's a kingdom divided against itself.
Exactly.
All right, so the covering cast is being lifted, and the only one that has the power to do that is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We're in the time right now where everything these devils are doing is being exposed now.
That's right.
And it's to the point now if you point those people and think they're the real Israelites, man, there's a real huge issue, man, because we're living in the age of information, and it's not even nothing new no more to find that out. All right, there's wars going on still. They're doing all types of wickedness. They have faggot homosexual parades that goes out in that land. And if you call yourself somebody who somewhat knows the scriptures, you would look at that and say that and see that does not correlate with what the Bible says, what was going to go on in our Holy Land. When we were living over there.
Right. Because at the end of the day, too, I was just thinking as you were speaking, man, Esau, the nation of Edom, you self-proclaimed white people today, you've always tried to run away from that, your true stigma as being the Edomites that the Most High set you up to be. You've called yourself the Romans. When we know who the true, the original Romans, the so-called Romans are, those are like the Etruscans, the Polynesian people today. You know, you've called yourself the Egyptians. You know, which we know the so-called Egyptians, or the Egyptians were so-called people of color, man.
Right.
Those Hamites, which they're not Israelites, just because all people of so-called people of color are not the same nation. But your whole historical legacy has been running away from your true nationality, who the Most High set you up to be, man. That's why you commit identity theft. That's why you're an identity thief. You really hate who you are at the end of the day. And right now, Esau and Edom, that's becoming a household name. These Edomites, these self-proclaimed white people, if we say that, they know what the hell we're talking about right now, man. Even though they're not going to acknowledge it. You know, did you have something?
I sure do. I sure do. Going into Cain. Who we talking about, man, spiritually. This is the book of Genesis chapter 4. And I'm going to just, I'm going to start where he curses him. Okay. This is Genesis 4:11. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thine hand. When thou tillest the ground, and the blood that's still shed are our people, man. Even around the time of slavery, what you've done. The way you've done slavery is the worst form of slavery within history, man. All right, it's so bad that when you go into the Atlantic Ocean, where we had came from West Africa, over there to this side of the earth, man, there's literally a trail of sharks that follow that pathway still to this day from all the blood that was shed, man. So you've definitely shed the blood of your brother. All right, and that goes into Ezekiel 35. All right, and Ezekiel 25. But I'm going to continue. It says in verse 12, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. All right, and that's a curse which shows that Cain is in existence today, man. Because even the earth doesn't cooperate the way it's supposed to with this devil in power, and especially when you go into our holy land, when that's supposed to be a very vegetative, fruitful land. When we was living over there, it wasn't a dry heat that it is today. But that's because you got those devils living over there right now. And everywhere the devil dwells at, you ain't going to find too much land or too much life nowhere, man, because he's the harbinger of death.
That's right.
Even when you go into the land of the Amalekites around the time of our sojourning in the wilderness for those 40 years, you got what was called Zin, and that's right where those Amalekites dwelt. And as our brethren were over there, they were complaining to Moses pretty much like, we need to get up out of here because this is a very wicked, dead place. And it was called Zin. All right, so everywhere you Edomites are, there's death that follows you, man, because you bring forth death. You're the harbinger of it. All right?
That's right.
When you continue, it says, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. It says, a fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And what is a fugitive? That's somebody that's constantly on the run.
Yep.
And 9 times out of 10, when you got somebody that's constantly on the run, they try to change their disguise to look like their surroundings or look like their environment. So what these Edomites done was they went over to different lands, taking their identities, taking their environments, and put them customs on as themselves to make us think that that's them. As the brother was going into the Romans. All right, they're calling themselves they call themselves Indians. You ask the Edomite, oh, I ain't got part Cherokee in me. Shut your dumb ass up, man. No, you don't. And that's all mainly the one they always claim out of our Gadite brothers and sisters are Cherokee.
Yep.
All right, knowing damn well they don't look nothing like no Gadites.
Just to justify them getting control of the land that the so-called indigenous people was already dwelling upon when they got their red asses over here. Is it more your precept?
Con. Well, I was gonna, and it says a vagabond, and when you go into a vagabond, that's another word for pretty much like churl. When you read about it in Isaiah, I can't remember 32. The exact 32 when it talks about calling them the churl. And when you go into that word churl, it pretty much means a scoundrel, man. All right, and you Edomites, you so-called white people are nothing but scoundrels, man. All right, that's why you the devil, you the deceiver. Everything you think of is mischief, and you meditate it from the time you wake up from your sleep to when you go back to sleep. You constantly think about ways that you can keep the Israelites in an oppressed state, man. All right, and one of the ways of you doing that was calling yourselves the Israelites. Exactly. So we would have never woke up thinking that, knowing who we were.
Exactly.
Which is all set up by the Heavenly Father anyway, and he pretty much pulled that veil back, man. And we came to the understanding through the Spirit that we're the Israelites, man, because we fit the characteristics of the Israelites in the scriptures. Not you, but that's that investigation.
That's right.
We investigated, and it was revealed unto us through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's why it says, seek, search, and ye shall find.
That's right. All
right, and the men of the Lord are searching out, and the Lord is revealing nuggets left and right, man, continually. That's it on that.
Yeah, I got a precept. Just to back up some things we've been talking about, how Esau, he likes to basically call himself the names of the people who was originally inhabiting certain lands throughout the history of the planet Earth, just part of being a fugitive and a vagabond from justice. He's always trying to disguise who he really is, just moving all throughout these different lands and calling himself the people of those lands.
Right.
This is Proverbs 22 and 28. It says, remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. So you're not supposed to remove the ancient landmarks, man. You know? And that's what they did historically. So anybody that don't have an ounce of sense or just information, they would think that the Edomites have ruled forever. They had control of every piece of land on the planet.
Right.
When really it was other people that was inhabiting certain regions of the planet Earth. But the Edomites, they through the murder, robbery, deception, moved them out the way, and then they'll take over and call themselves the people of those lands. You know? And this has been just the trajectory of the nation of Edom through our history, man. Just henceforth, another reason why we call you the devil, man. Identity theft, man. You know, this has been placed on you. We're doing the investigating, and now we're bringing it up. We built the case. Ultimately, the Most High, he's built a case is being built up upon you, man. And then after the case is being built up, once it's insurmountable evidence, it's time to bang the gavel of judgment.
That's right.
And we're close to the time when you Edomite's judgment, man. We're already seeing it happen. Go ahead.
This is John chapter 10, verse 10. It says, the thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. To steal, man. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly.
Right. Steal, kill, destroy. All attributes of being the harbinger of death, man.
That's
the
right.
border of wickedness. Everywhere you go, you commit violence and murder, rape, robbery, genocide, stealing land, hoarding up resources, man.
Yeah.
Stealing people's identity. You're the devil.
Right.
It's like you really shouldn't get offended about that. It's just the truth. Like the Elder Ariella says, it's just the truth, man.
It's right there.
The thief cometh not but to kill, to steal, and destroy. And that's what our people have to understand about this maniacal demon that's in power called a self-proclaimed white man. Like the scripture says in Sirach, the 12th chapter, never trust thine enemy, that's man. Right. He's our immortal enemy from the womb, man. To the point to where he's running so much from his judgment, he'll take your identity, man. How can you trust a person like that? How can you place any stake and faith in his system that he set up?
Right.
That's all more reason to come back to the Heavenly Father, seeking the Most High 10 times more. As you see your enemy going down because of his wickedness, you got a precept, and I'm gonna just go ahead and hit them ones I had.
Okay, come.
You didn't have anything.
Nah, you got it. It's all good.
Get Psalms 58:3.
That's the spirit. I was actually just not getting there right now.
Yeah.
That's the spirit. Hey, as I'm pulling it up,
you Edomites is easy work too, and it's beautiful at the camp Friday, man. The Lord threw us a bone in the spirit. Brothers been going through all types of hell, but the Lord just sent us a little thing to build brother's spirit, man. You Edomites are constantly getting judged, man.
That's right.
Con,
that's the spirit, brother. I was just about to bring that up now too, man. That's the spirit, man. Because you had that Edomite that came out there, and that the spirit, the Lord put the spirit on this random Jake to knock this Edomite out. That's been scoffing left and right, man. He's been a notorious scoffer to the Great Millstone Dallas camp, man. The spirit had a Jake just go over there and give him a 3-piece, man. No fry on the side of anything, no dressing, just straight chicken. Being funny when I say that, but the straight 3-piece, man. And the thing about it, he had came to the camp about 2 times afterward, complained, threw food at us, and he tried to come, and he brought 2 other whack-ass, crusty-ass Jakes along with him. But as all the cops came, and as things got heated up, who was the first one to leave? You had that Edomite way down the street, and his partner, it was so-called partner, with Jakes, was right there. And I looked at the Jake, and I'm like, bro, you over here talking to us? Look at your boy over there. And he looked, and he was way down the street, man. Hey, man, these Edomites don't give a damn about you, man. Right. And if you don't wake up to that fact that these Edomites don't care about you, man, you're going to die alongside with them. All right? And, of course, we ultimately know 2/3 are going to die. But a lot of you Jakes that are here that are befriending these Edomites, man, and as the brother brought up in Ecclesiastes 12, as iron rusted, so has his wickedness. All right, and the scriptures also talk about though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. If you join in hands with them, you're going to be part of that same condemnation, man. Now, ultimately in the kingdom, you're going to be back in the right state of mind, but you're going to eat of that second death. You're going to taste of that second death, man, because you can't get it out of your head that these people are the devil. But the scriptures call somebody the devil, and that fugitive and vagabond is on the planet Earth, man. He ain't just disappeared with Cain. That ain't just what it's talking about. That was a piece of what was to come. And he's here in the flesh as Esau, man. That's that fugitive. That's that vagabond, man. And you know what they say? Guilty by association. If you're hanging around with a fugitive, man, you're going to get the same judgment that fugitive gets, man, because you are your company. All right?
You are the company you keep. And at the end of the day, Esau also, he's a succubus. Like, that's why they be having a little certain token Jake around them. Just to assert your spirit out of you, because they know at the end of the day that you're the people of the Lord.
That's right.
And really, if they could just have your spirit, they would just drain you dry and just leave you for dead, man.
That's right.
But not to get off too much. If you have to precept.
This is Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
That's right. So the wicked are estranged from the womb, man. So as soon as they're born, they're brought forth on the earth, man. They go speaking lies. Even little white babies, man. Speaking lies, man. Like some happen in a school, like an elementary school or something, where it's a school where it's probably is multicultural or whatever, where you got Edomite babies and then Jake babies. I bet if something happened to the Edomite little child, even if Jake didn't do it, they gonna blame Jake. So that shows you Edomites, you're born speaking lies, man. Just another reason why we call you the devil. Just more justification as to why you committed the biggest identity theft on the planet, man. Because you were programmed to speak lies and to be just a deceitful person.
Right.
Go ahead.
Just a quick precept. Psalms 137:9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Now, people might just think that sounds harmful, but as the brother had stated, man, as soon as they be born, they go straight speaking lies, man. So that baby devil that you see that you think looks all, ooh, look at the baby. Hey, man, that's going to grow up to be a full-fledged devil, man. So you got to take it out while it's young. And we're not telling you, Jakes, to go around killing Edomites for you guys that are just hearing that, because you got a lot of people that want judgment right now. All right, this is talking about when the Lord lifts that standard up. All right, and when we come back down from them chariots, the way we're going to judge, okay? And even in the kingdom of heaven, you know what I'm saying? But when the Lord lifts that standard up and he raised us up from being those fishers to being those hunters, where we hunted from the clefts to the rocks and everything, just as much as we judge those adults, man, we're going to judge those little ones too.
That's right.
All right? Even when Edom serves 1,000 years of slavery, every last one of them is going to get burnt the hell up, man. All right? Because what did Saul do? Saul tried to keep the Edomites after he was told to destroy all of them.
Yep.
All right? He was told to destroy everything, but Saul pretty much kept King Agag. He kept certain sheep and tried to take it on for himself. That's why a lot of you Jakes that are out here right now that doesn't want these Edomites to be destroyed, you are of the house of Saul, man. Because the scriptures clearly told us to destroy them back then.
Yep.
And that's what's going to happen ultimately in the kingdom of heaven. They're going to serve the slavery. They're going to be destroyed, man, because they're devils.
Exactly.
All right?
Yeah, and that's why Yahweh Shai in John the 8th chapter was cursing at those wicked scribes and Pharisees. He said, you are of your father the devil, and you'll do the works of him.
That's right.
Because that's who's controlling this society as we know it, which is set up in all manner of deception and wickedness, man. So if you at this time, 2019, having like a real so-called friendship with one of these devils, man, hey, you ain't in the right spirit. That's and right. You're gonna go down with them, man.
That's right.
As they go down, your ass is going down too, man. You know?
God.
Go ahead.
This is Psalm chapter 58, verse 4. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth their ear.
That's right. They're poison as a poison of a serpent, because really in the spirit, they go back to the serpent in the Garden of Eden, who came to Eve, man, with the different philosophies and the false doctrines, you know, to where the fall of man, the fall of the Israelite man happened through Adam, you know, going after the woman, which that's another topic for another day. But Esau, he embodies the characteristics of the serpent. You ain't going to trust no serpent because you know at any given time that he could snap. Just going back to Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Why? You're not going to pity a snake charmer, right?
Right.
You know that a damn snake, that's something that could potentially happen if you're dealing with a snake, man. You can get bit with that venom. And that tongue is full of venom, man, because Esau's tongue, like that's why the so-called Native American Indians said that the Edomites, they spoke with a forked tongue. Like meaning they would say one thing and then they would do the contrary. So they're untrustworthy beings, man, in every aspect of life, man, to the highest form of deception. And just like we going into in a lesson, identity theft.
That's right.
You had something?
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
Genesis 3:15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise its heel. We brought up Revelation 12 earlier, and we're going into the serpent right now, the poison of a serpent. And this was the judgment that was ultimately given unto the serpent when you read about it in Revelation the 3rd chapter. And the fulfillment of that judgment, you read about it in Revelation the 12th chapter. Okay, but when you read about it, when it says, it shall bruise thy head, we have to remember that the Lord is speaking to the serpent right now, and he's telling the serpent his future judgment, what was going to become of him in the latter days. So as he said, it shall bruise thy head, that it is pertaining to the seed of the woman, which is going into the Israelites right now. Okay? And then it says, and thy shall bruise its heel. Right. Meaning the serpent was going to bruise our heel, but that's still something that we can be healed from. All right? Now, when you have a head injury, you can't be healed from that at all, man. That's why the best way to kill a serpent is to what? Take the head off of it, man. Yep. If you cut off its tail or anywhere, there's still a strong possibility the serpent will live and it'll heal, and it'll continue in its way of deception and destruction.
That's right.
All right? That's why you read about it also, too, in the book of Nahum. Matter of fact, mind if I get this really quick, too? It's in the book of Nahum, the 3rd chapter, when you go into the judgment of the Assyrian Empire, which you still look at the judgment of the Assyrian Empire or Nineveh, you look at it today in the judgment that's going to take place here to America, which is ruled by these serpents or these Edomites. Okay? Now, when you read Nahum, the 3rd chapter, And we read about the judgment of the serpent in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Let's read this here in Nahum 3:19. It says, there is no healing of thy bruise. Thy wound is grievous. All right. So as we read in Genesis 3, where it says, it shall bruise thy head and thou shalt bruise its heel. We gonna bruise his head, and that's a grievous wound pertaining to Nahum the 3rd chapter. It says, all that hear the bruit of thee shall clap hands over thee, for upon whom has not thy wickedness passed continually? So as this devil falls, everybody's gonna be able to see it, man. That's why it says all the nations shall see the smoke of her burning as well, going into Babylon, which is ruled by these devils. You know, everybody's gonna be able to see the fall of these devils, man. When these Edomites are in slavery, especially when these nobles go into slavery, because Nahum the 3rd chapter goes into that as well. When they go into slavery, people are going to look at it and consider and say, man, is this the man that made the whole earth to tremble? Everybody's going to notice that this man isn't as big as bad as he had perceived himself to be, man, because of his arms, because of his weaponry, man. The Lord is going to humble you devils, man.
That's right.
Very soon. That's it on that.
Can you get Job 13:4? And that's the last one I had.
Okay. This is the book of Job, chapter 13, verse 4. It says, but ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value.
That's right. So that's the nation of Edom in a nutshell, man. You don't got to be a rocket scientist or chemical surgeon to figure out that right now, or just throughout history, the Edomites have been the devil, the physical manifestation of the spiritual demon Satan and the devil on the earth, and that they're the liars of the planet, man. They've committed the biggest identity theft on the planet.
Right.
They're forgers of lies, man. They're physicians of no value. So they're always trying to make, because a physician is supposed to be someone that heals.
Right.
You know, but there's some physicians of no value. They actually set up death. Right. They set up ways of death. You know.
That's right.
So at this appointed time, for the nation of Israel, for the Israelites who proclaim to believe in his word, man, you got to consider your ways. You got to consider who's in power. You got to consider that you do have an enemy, man.
That's right.
And he's not for your best interests, man. And the point being made in this lesson, because look, he stole your identity. So right. That goes to show that Esau, hey, Satan's going to come with great wrath because he knows that he has a short time. Like he knows through the spirit that right now we're getting closer and closer to the time of his judgment. So he's a fugitive. He's gonna run to the very end, man.
Right, that's right.
I'm talking about a high speed chase through the forest, man. You're gonna have to go at all odds.
Guns blazing.
But for the men of faith too, we have to remain spiritual and understand that we have to wait on Yahweh Shah to take vengeance on Cain.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. Because
like we did a lesson the other night, me and the brother Abadi from Great Millstone, Mississippi. Isaac, he's the one, or through Yahweh Shah, if you can receive it, he's the one who gave Esau the blessing that he has right now.
That's right.
So Yahweh Shah is going to have to bring him down. He gave him the blessing, which is carnality, the fatness of the earth, the sword. So it's nothing that we can do. We have to wait on the same person that gave him the blessing to bring him down, to judge him.
That's right.
And that's going to be Yahweh Shah.
That's right.
So in the midst of all of this identity theft, the investigation, the cases being built up through the spirit, and it's only a matter of time before that ultimate judgment. So, I mean, that's all I had, unless you want to add any closing precepts, points.
That's cool.
So hopefully this was edifying and made sense to the body. We would like to give all praises to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect.
Shalom.
Shalom.